The strangest thing about survival isn't the gear or the grit. It's the quiet tricks, the ones history almost misplaced, that still whisper their power into our noisy, tech-soaked era. One of those tricks came out of World War II, born from desperation, discipline, and the kind of creative cunning you only get when the world is on fire. And though the battlefields have changed, the trick hasn't aged a day. It's still sharp, still reliable, still capable of giving anyone, yes, even you, out there listening on your phone, a real advantage when everything else goes dark. Let's walk into it. During World War II, communication wasn't just a convenience, it was oxygen. Armies discovered fast that a single broken message could derail an entire operation. Radios jammed, wires got cut, weather ruined everything. And in those moments, soldiers turned back to a method so ancient and yet so engineered it deserves a trophy. The human relay. Simple? Yes, but built on strategy. Survival teams still use this method, but it looks a little different. You don't need uniforms or radios. You need people, placement and timing. The essence is simple. Create a spaced-out human network that carries sound, signals or movement farther and faster than one person ever could. World War II units found that the sweet spot for audibility in chaotic outdoor environments was about 90 to 150 meters. Close enough to hear, far enough to cover terrain quickly. Soldiers stood behind rocks, trees, dunes, every shape nature offered, to hide their silhouettes. Messages rode on coded shouts, hand signals, reflected light, or even the flick of a fabric strip. When radios fell silent, this grid kept armies moving. And it didn't matter whether the message was urgent, mundane, or tactical. What mattered was that the chain never broke. Modern survivalists still use this because electricity lies, batteries betray. But a disciplined human network, that's stubborn. World War II forces loved code words. They weren't random, they were designed to be unconfusable even under stress. Words with hard consonants carried best. Words that didn't rhyme with mission-critical terms were prioritized to prevent deadly mix-ups. Today, the same principle still stands. Choose short, punchy words your group can shout, whisper or signal clearly. Avoid anything that blends into natural soundscapes. Avoid soft openings. A word like falcon cuts through wind better than moon. A word like brick lands harder than water. This is how soldiers could send complex warnings using just 2 or 3 syllables, even in gunfire. That's the heart of the forgotten trick brevity with accuracy. A message small enough to bounce between people in seconds. A network strong enough to lift it across space. You know, one of the most creative pieces of this World War II method rarely gets talked about. When sound couldn't travel, like during storms, in dense forests or at night, soldiers switched to light and movement instead. A reflective object catching a sliver of sun. A cloth strip waving in a rhythm. A brief flash of a concealed lantern. A hand slicing the air in a distinct pattern. This wasn't just improvisation. It was, in fact, a parallel language. Entire battalions moved silently because of those little movements. Rescue teams still use versions of it today. Mountain crews, forest search units, even some modern special forces keep adapted versions tucked into their training because it, well, bypasses every digital vulnerability. When lights and signals are arranged in sequence, each person extends the reach of the one behind them. You become a living circuit, a moving whisper line, and when chaos hits, it works flawlessly. This is where the trick earns its crown. Technology is excellent until it isn't. A storm steals your signal, a dead battery mocks you, a crowded network collapses, a power outage drags you back decades instantly. But the human relay thrives in collapse. It's the cockroach of communication, resilient, unglamorous, unbeatable, because it doesn't need satellites, it doesn't need towers, it doesn't need permission, just people willing to be placed with purpose. World War II proved that a well-trained human network moves information faster than panicked shouting, faster than running, and shockingly often faster than malfunctioning tech. In dense forests or ruined urban zones, a line of trained people transferring signals can deliver a warning across a kilometre in under 6 seconds. That's not outdated. That's genius. Here's how survival groups still apply the method, refined through decades. You establish fixed positions. Each person knows their marker, a tree, a rock, a ridgeline, a broken post, anything that doesn't move. Everyone memorizes their distance. Everyone memorizes their signal. Then you rehearse. The message passes like electricity, short, crisp, unambiguous. If something interrupts the chain, the network already has a fallback signal to indicate breakage. This isn't nostalgia. It's engineering with human parts instead of wires. World War II commanders relied on it because paper maps burned, radios broke, and chaos laughed at plans. Today, disaster responders use the same skeleton. If communication towers fall, the human relay steps in, breathing life back into broken infrastructure. If you've got a family, a team, a group of hikers, this trick is gold. Quiet gold, underestimated gold, the kind that saves people and doesn't brag about it. Discipline. That's the part people ignore. World War II soldiers didn't just stand in line and hope for the best. They trained until signals became instinct, until messages moved without hesitation, until the network flowed like a pulse. Survival isn't about muscles or packing 10 gadgets. It's about predictable communication. When pressure hits, the mind scrambles. Words tangle, technology fails, but a drilled signal chain cuts through noise like a blade. The forgotten trick works because it replaces panic with automation. And the best part? Anyone can learn it. Anyone can teach it. Anyone can use it when life throws a blackout at them. This method is one of those rare survival tools that feels like it was carved out of time. Old, yes, but timeless. It's the backbone of human communication when every modern system keels over. And the lesson it whispers from the past is simple. Human networks still beat broken machines. World War II didn't leave us many gifts, but this one, this quiet, reliable trick, remains undefeated. Use it, teach it, keep it alive. And if you want more powerful survival wisdom pulled from history's deep pockets, make sure you subscribe to Legacy of Survival, hit that share button, and spread this knowledge like wildfire. Someone out there might need it sooner than they think.